I'm going to show you guys how to install the loudest and best intake on your M240. This is our RKTUNES front mount intake. So from the factory, these cars actually have the intake air box in the engine bay right here. It does have a small duct that leads sort of kind of to the front, but it's not the same. You're still getting this air box just sucking up a ton of heat. Has this big silencer on the back right here. Now that you heard nothing, we're gonna get the stock air box out to start, and then the bumper will have to come off to do this job. So if you're scared about doing a bumper, you need to bring a mechanical shop. You can always send them this video to show them how to do it after you get your intake for your car. To get the stock air box off, it's pretty simple. There's a little white clip here. I pull up, push it down, comes right off to unplug the mass airflow sensor. One hose clamp that holds it in, loosen it up a bunch, and then you just, I know it might sound a little savage, you just gotta pull it up until it pops off. Underneath this, there's these little pins. They get held in with these rubber grommets, so if you don't pull real hard, it won't come off. We'll have to have this top piece, and that's literally right to taking the bumper off. This pulls right off. You can use whatever tool you want to get these little clips off. I typically use a small flathead to bring it up a little bit, and then just use my hand. To get these off, you push these things sideways. You might be able to use your finger, I'm not sure. 1/2, 2/2, and then you do the rest for all these. All these little bolts have to come out. They're already a little loose because we started doing that in advance a little bit. Once these black bolts are all out, then we'll go to wheel well liners. With the car up, you don't really have to get wheels off. You can just rotate them. There's a bunch of bolts. They're already out here. It has to come loose and come out. Right now we got one I think 10 up here left. Then with all the mounts, it looks like something like this. There's a bolt or two right here. Feels like an 8 that will hold this together. Underneath the car, there's a bunch of little bolts holding the bumper up. No idea how many there is, but there's a lot. So take all those out unless this bumper comes off. I already start pulling this side. When you pull this off, there's a little tab, has a little force. You pull down a hair. Here's the easier view. There's 2 holes for that hold this together. It just sort of pops off, but you have to be careful. There is connectors inside for the sensors right here, for all the sensors, and then also for sprayers. If it does not look like this has sprayers, but we'll double check how many sensor wires there are. Typically on this side, these are the connectors that you have to take off once the bumper's dangling. We're gonna take off these bolts. Also, I'm taking out these 230s in this. We should make the grill a little looser. Perfect. Grill's loose now. There's actually a third one right there. There's also a plug in the bottom of that right here. It's just hard to do with one hand while recording for you guys. Then this little duct thing has to come off. So from the factory, it pulls cold air in from here and something from this bumper area. I don't understand, but this will all come apart. To get this whole assembly out, there's a little tab here. Pops this piece off. And then this should just pull right through. You just go down the engine bay side. You will have to disconnect this to make the install process a lot easier with a little snip. Now it's off. Do these 2 13s off here, we're gonna take these 13s off here to make it a lot easier to line this up. Once it's like lined up and tightened, we'll put the bar right back on. Joiners go in like this, air filter goes like this. Please don't be a savage and like beat the filter up and crush it. It's pretty strong, so if you tell me you crush your filter, I'm gonna know you're like, I don't know what you're doing, dude. But yeah, get that on there. And then I'm on a short leash. And then this goes down and it will line up, I would say, pretty perfectly to everything over here. You will have to transfer over the mass airflow sensor. The mass airflow sensor hardware on the stock airbox will not get reused on this. We give you new hardware. It does sort of thread in, but we suggest using the new hardware we give you. Comes with clamps, comes with another joiner for this piece right here. So plug in like stock. There'll be clamps on all the lower stuff. There'll be another joiner here, another joiner down there. Also note on this, on some of these cars, to get this sensor in, it might look like it's a little wobbly. Don't just tighten it. I'll show you what to do I will have updated ones made that fit this a little bit differently. But for right now, this part I'm gonna have you trim with a razor blade. So what we'll do is we'll take the seal off and note the orientation of the seal. That like it's wider on the bottom. Seal literally peels right off. And what happens is in these corners, they're just touching a little bit. So I'm just gonna take this. And this will have no effect if you ever go back to stock. It is just a little tiny piece of plastic. I will have future intakes made to accommodate this. I'm gonna do this on all four corners. Also, the fitment of this bar will touch this a little bit. So you're gonna like thread these in a little bit and push the bar back as you tighten it. Reassembly is literally the identical reverse of this assembly. You can see RKTUNES badge through the grill. You can see air filter a little bit, but a lot's really hidden on this car. Also, I'm gonna teach you guys a little trick on how to make intake sound loud. If you're just revving, there's not a lot of load in the engine, so there's not that much air, so it doesn't make that much noise. I go first and second gear from the brake. And let's see what it sounds like from the outside. We'll have a link below. These are in stock at the time of making this video. If you want them, we have them with both red filters, blue filters often, and if we have different colors of the actual tubing, it'll be on the link down below. Also,